So when we're thinking about return on metrics, so if we have return on X, could be return on anything, what you would do is just think about it the way it's phrased. It's comparing two things to each other, and you do that through division essentially. So what you're comparing the return on would be your return on top of whatever it is underneath. So for return on assets, which is one common return metric, shows you how much in net income or net profit is being generated for every dollar of assets. Now, when we're talking about return on investment, we're typically talking about an outlay of capital or cash that we're using to purchase a piece of equipment or expand a capability in a new area, and we're only going to make those purchases or those expenses if we're expecting a greater return on that in the future. So it's simply a way of calculating what we expect for the money that we put out. So let's imagine that you have a piece of equipment that you're purchasing for $100,000. So the return on that, let's say, is $115,000. So if we're going to calculate return on that investment, we take the return, $115,000, on top of, if we're thinking about the division, the investment of $100,000, and that would be 15% increase, a 15% return on investment. Now you can calculate the same thing not just on investments that generate additional income, but you can calculate return on investment in terms of cost savings as well. So like if you imagine making a big investment in a piece of equipment that isn't necessarily going to generate more income, but is more efficient or is going to cost less in the long run, you can calculate the return on that investment in terms of cost savings as well. So when we're thinking about return on investment, it's one of those two things. It's either new income generated by that investment, or it's cost savings, money saved by making that investment in that piece of equipment or whatever that investment is. Now, one thing to keep in mind when you're thinking about return on investment and how you characterize it is the time frame on which you're concerned about. So some purchases, some investments take many years to generate a return on investment. Some might be shorter term, but it's important to have in mind what the horizon is for how long you're going to give this investment to start returning for you, because that'll change the calculation, so to speak. If it's if you're looking at generating a return on this investment over the course of 1 year versus 5 years versus 10 years, I mean, that'll help you make a decision on whether that's a wise investment for you, if you are the type of person who has control over those things. So it's not necessarily important to have the hard technical skills to on your own demonstrate ROI for a project or an idea, but it's understanding the big picture around what ROI is, and then enlisting the partners and resources that you have at your disposal in your organization to help you make that case.